Just like God is real, the devil is real too. And the devil is not a he or a she. You might hear me say he, but the devil is not a person. It doesn't have a physical body. It's that dark force behind all evil. It's that dark force that feeds off negativity. It's a parasite. It's a leech. In Hebrew, the word Satan means adversary or accuser. So if you're not aware of how this dark force works, you'll be fooled into believing his lies are your own thoughts. And you'll be fooled into believing his lies are true. The number one tactic the devil uses is fear. All of his cousins, worry, anxiety, etc. And he uses different methods of fear: propaganda, fear mongering, scarcity, lack, hypochondriacism. I remember I used to be a really big hypochondriac, and I was only like 18 or 19, constantly worrying about my health. I was convinced I was slowly, secretly dying from some terminal illness. I would be in and out the hospital. They would run all these tests and they would be like, Miss Muhammad, you're healthy. We don't know what to tell you. And I would be so frustrated because I was convinced there was something wrong with me. And I didn't realize I was being controlled like a puppet. The devil had me at the palm of his hands because I was living in fear. I was so preoccupied with these imaginary health problems that I had. I was distracted from living in my purpose. I was distracted from being who God called me to be. Fear paralyzes you. And that's one of the devil's favorite tactics, because when you are living in a fight or flight state, you cannot flourish. You cannot blossom. You cannot excel. You cannot be the person God has called you to be. You cannot live up to your full potential when you're living in fear. And it's so unfortunate how many people play a role in instilling fear, whether they realize it or not, whether it's intentional or not. The media, the government, the healthcare professionals, even some of these religious leaders. And the spirit of fear doesn't come from God. So even if somebody's packaged like they're representing God, doesn't mean they are, if they're instilling fear in you. Another tactic the devil uses is imposter syndrome. You feeling like a fraud, you feeling unworthy, you feeling unqualified to do what God has put in your heart, to do what God has called you to do. That's one of his favorite tactics, because that's how he talks you out of who God says you are. That's how he attacks your identity. And I'm going to be honest, I used to struggle with imposter syndrome so bad, I wanted to take my own life. Because I'm like, God, why would you put these desires in my heart if I'm not able to fulfill them? But then I had to realize, if God called you to it, he's going to qualify you for it. The desires of your heart are not for you to fulfill. They're for God to fulfill, and for you to just trust and believe and have faith and to feel the fear and still do it anyway. Another tactic the devil uses is gaslighting. He'll make you think you're crazy. He'll make you think you're delusional. You're not really hearing from God. You're just making all this stuff up in your head. God's not even real. And if he is, what makes you think he's going to bless you? He will cause confusion. He will make you question yourself. He will make you question what you believe. He will make you question what's real and what's not. Anytime you have those thoughts, aka sneak attacks, ask yourself, would God talk to me like this? Is this how God views me? If the answer is no, it's the dark force talking to you. That's not God talking to you. Another tactic the devil uses is egotism. Ego is your sense of self-importance. And I once heard Wayne Dyer say, ego stands for edging God out. That's why the devil constantly tries to make you be in your ego. Because the more you feed your ego, the further you get pulled away from God. Ego is the number one cause of human conflict. Think about it. Wars, road rage, arguing with strangers online, getting into heated debates about religion, politics, and even celebrities that don't even know you exist. Let's be real. There's no such thing as killing the ego. While you're in this human form, You will always have an ego, but you should try to deflate it as much as possible, because the bigger your ego is, the easier the devil can use you. And by the way, thinking you're superior or inferior to a person is egotistical, because you're measuring your sense of self importance based on another person, in comparison to another person. That's the work of the enemy, too. The final tactic the devil uses is guilt, shame. He loves to bring up stuff from your past, even if it was 10, 15 years ago. Even if you've changed and you're a completely different person, he'll try to convince you that's still who you are. He'll even tell you God is never going to bless you. God is never going to forgive you. God is going to punish you forever. That causes you to feel shame. Shame keeps you in hiding. And if you're in hiding, guess what? You're not sharing your light with the world. I'm going to be honest, it was really hard for me to forgive myself. It was even harder than forgiving another person. Because I feel like if I forgive myself, I'll be letting myself off the hook. And if I let myself off the hook, God gonna really punish me. But I didn't realize, Kyla, God already forgave you. He's just waiting on you to forgive yourself. But I didn't realize that because the devil was constantly sending me on these guilt trips. So I know you're probably wondering, how can I combat the enemy's tactics? It's simple. Constant prayer and constant affirmations. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Anytime he tries to creep in, call it out and say an affirmation that rebukes whatever lie he just tried to tell you. And whenever you pray, actually believe and have faith and trust. Trust that higher force that I choose to call God is looking out for you and is going to give you a peace that surpasses all understanding. I love you guys. I pray this message blessed you. If it did, make sure you like it, make sure you subscribe. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.